This is a story how Virgin Mary appeared to Blessed Carlos Acutis. It was a miraculous situation that a teenage boy who loved video games and pizza received visits from the Mother of God herself. What if this same teenager is actually on his way to becoming a saint in the Catholic Church? This is not fiction. This is the incredible true story of Carlo Acutis and his miraculous encounters with the Blessed Virgin Mary. Right here, right as we speak, hit that subscribe button and ring the notification bell. Trust me, you will not want to miss what comes next. Share this video with someone who needs to hear this extraordinary story today. Carlo Acutis was not your typical teenager. Born in London in 1991 to Italian parents, he moved to Milan when he was just a baby. From the outside, he seemed like any other kid. He loved soccer, played video games, and enjoyed hanging out with friends. But something set Carlo apart from every other teenager in his school, in his neighborhood, in his entire city. At age 7, Carlo asked his mother a question that would shock her to her core. "Mama, why do some people act like Jesus doesn't exist?" This was a child who had barely started reading, yet he spoke about Christ with the wisdom of someone who had lived decades in faith. But here's what makes this story even more incredible. Carlo's parents weren't particularly religious when he was born. His mother, Antonia, rarely attended Mass. His father, Andrea, was a businessman focused on worldly success. Yet their son displayed a hunger for God that seemed to come from somewhere beyond this earth. Wait until you hear what happened next. Because Carlo's relationship with the Virgin Mary didn't start with visions or apparitions. It started with something much more simple, much more beautiful, and much more accessible to every single person watching this video right now. When Carlo was just 3 years old, he would stop and stare at paintings of the Madonna in churches, not for seconds, not for minutes. He would stand there, completely still, for what seemed like hours. His mother would try to pull him away, worried that people were staring. But Carlo couldn't be moved. Something was drawing him to Mary with a force that his young heart couldn't explain, but absolutely couldn't resist. Tell me in the comments below, have you ever felt that unexplainable pull towards something holy? Drop your experience below, because what you're about to hear will make perfect sense of that feeling. By age 4, Carlo was asking to attend Mass every single day. Not Sunday Mass, not special occasion Mass. Every single day. His mother thought this was just a phase. Children go through phases with dinosaurs, with superheroes, with cartoons. But Carlo's phase was different. His phase was with Jesus Christ in the Eucharist. Here's where the story takes an incredible turn that will give you chills. Carlo began having what he called conversations with the Virgin Mary. Not visions in the dramatic sense that you might think of, not bright lights or miraculous apparitions that shook the ground. These were intimate, personal, one-on-one conversations that felt as real to Carlo as any conversation he had with his parents or friends. But get this, and this is where it gets really interesting, Carlo never told anyone about these conversations for years. Why would a child keep something so extraordinary to himself? Because Mary had asked him to. She had explained to him that these moments were special, sacred, and meant to prepare him for something greater. What was that something greater? Keep watching, because the answer will change how you think about your own relationship with heaven. During these early conversations, Mary taught Carlo about the power of the Eucharist. She explained to him that Jesus was truly present in the consecrated bread and wine. For most Catholics, this is a matter of faith that we accept, but don't necessarily feel in a tangible way. For Carlo, this became the most real thing in his entire life. Mary told him something that would become the foundation of everything he would accomplish in his short but incredible life. She said, "Carlo, the Eucharist is the highway to heaven. Every time you receive Jesus in Holy Communion, you are being prepared for eternal life with God." Think about this for a moment. A child receiving theological instruction directly from the Mother of God. But it wasn't just instruction. It was preparation for a mission that would impact thousands of people around the world, including you watching this video right at this moment. As Carlo grew older, his conversations with Mary became more frequent and more specific. She began asking him to do something that seemed almost impossible for a teenager in the early 2000s. Mary wanted Carlo to document and share the Eucharistic miracles that had occurred throughout church history. This is where Carlo's modern skills met his ancient faith in the most beautiful way possible. He was gifted with computers and programming at a time when most teenagers were just learning how to send emails. But Carlo saw his technical abilities as tools given to him by God for a specific purpose. Working late into the night, Carlo created a comprehensive website cataloging every verified Eucharistic miracle in Catholic Church history. We're talking about incidents where the consecrated bread literally transformed into human flesh and blood, events witnessed by thousands of people and verified by scientific analysis. But here's what makes this absolutely incredible, and you need to hear this part carefully. Mary was guiding Carlo through every step of this process. She would appear to him while he worked, pointing out specific miracles to research, suggesting ways to present the information, and encouraging him when the work became overwhelming. Can you see what was happening here? The Mother of God was using a teenager's love of technology to spread faith to people she knew would need this evidence in the coming years. Mary was preparing for the doubts and questions that would challenge believers in the digital age. If you're finding this story as incredible as I am, hit that like button right now and let me know in the comments which part has impacted you the most so far, because we're just getting to the most unbelievable part of Carlo's relationship with the Virgin Mary. In September 2006, Carlo began feeling unwell. What started as minor fatigue quickly developed into something more serious. Within days, he was diagnosed with acute leukemia, a rapid and aggressive form of cancer that would claim his life within a week. During this final week, Mary's presence in Carlo's life became more visible to others. His mother later testified that she would sometimes find Carlo having conversations with someone she couldn't see. When she asked him about it, Carlo would simply smile and say, "Mama, Mary is here. She's explaining everything to me." What was Mary explaining? She was revealing to Carlo the impact his life and death would have on the world. She showed him visions of young people returning to the faith because of his example. She revealed to him the miracles that would occur through his intercession after his death. She assured him that his website documenting Eucharistic miracles would reach millions of people and strengthen their faith in Jesus present in the Eucharist. On October 12, 2006, the feast of Our Lady of Apparition, Carlo Acutis died peacefully in a hospital bed in Milan. His last words were, "I'm happy to die because I lived my life without wasting even a minute on things that displease God." But death was not the end of Carlo's relationship with Mary. In fact, it was just the beginning of something even more incredible. Within months of Carlo's death, people around the world began reporting miracles through his intercession. But the most documented and verified miracle occurred in 2013 in Campo Grande, Brazil. A 6-year-old boy named Mateus Vieira was born with a rare pancreatic defect that prevented him from eating normal food. Doctors told his family that he would need multiple surgeries and might never live a normal life. His mother, desperate for help, began praying to Carlo Acutis every single day. One night, Matthias told his mother that a young man had appeared to him in a dream. This young man, whom Matthias had never seen before, told him that he would be healed and that he should ask his mother to pray to someone named Carlo. When his mother showed him pictures of various saints, Matthias immediately pointed to a photo of Carlo Acutis and said, "That's him. That's the young man who visited me." Within days, Matthias was completely healed. Medical doctors could find no explanation for his sudden recovery. The Vatican investigated this miracle thoroughly and officially recognized it as the miracle needed for Carlo's beatification. But here's what makes this story even more incredible. Matthias's mother later testified that during her prayers to Carlo, she felt the presence of a woman she believed to be the Virgin Mary. Mary had assured her that Carlo would intercede for her son because he had always been devoted to helping children in need. Can you see the connection? Even after death, Mary continues to work through Carlo Acutis to bring hope and healing to families around the world. The same Virgin Mary who appeared to him in life continues to guide his intercession in heaven. Share this video right now with someone who needs to hear about the power of intercession and the reality of heaven's love for each of us. Today, Carlo Acutis is Blessed Carlo Acutis. officially recognized by the Catholic Church as being in heaven and able to intercede for those who pray to him. But his relationship with the Virgin Mary continues to impact lives in ways that are absolutely incredible. His body lies in the sanctuary of the Renunciation in Assisi, Italy, and thousands of pilgrims visit his tomb every year. Many report feeling an overwhelming sense of peace and the presence of both Carlo and Mary when they pray there. Young people especially are drawn to Carlo's tomb. They see in him proof that holiness doesn't require extraordinary mystical experiences or dramatic religious conversions. It requires ordinary life lived with extraordinary love, guided by regular conversation with heaven. Mary's appearances to Carlo revealed something crucial for our modern world. She showed him that technology could be used to evangelize, that young people could be saints, and that simple daily faithfulness could change the world. The website that Carlo created with Mary's guidance has now been translated into multiple languages and viewed by millions of people worldwide. Countless individuals have returned to the faith or strengthened their belief in the Eucharist because of the work Carlo did under Mary's direction. But here's what should give you hope right at this moment. Mary's relationship with Carlo wasn't unique because he was special. It was powerful because he was available. He made time for daily Mass. He listened during prayer. He acted on what he felt called to do. What is Mary calling you to do? What conversation is she trying to have with you that you might be missing because you're too busy, too distracted, or too convinced that such things don't happen to ordinary people? The story of Carlo Acutis and his relationship with the Virgin Mary carries a specific message for people living in 2025. Mary appeared to him at a time when the world was becoming increasingly digital, when young people were losing interest in traditional religion, and when many Catholics were beginning to doubt the real presence of Jesus in the Eucharist. Through Carlo, Mary demonstrated that she meets people where they are. She didn't ask Carlo to abandon his love of technology. She asked him to sanctify it. She didn't ask him to become a monk or a priest. She asked him to be a faithful teenager who used his gifts to serve God. Mary's conversations with Carlo revealed her deep concern for young people today. She knows the pressures they face, the temptations that surround them, and the confusion that marks so much of modern culture. Through Carlo's example, she provides a roadmap for holiness in the 21st century. That roadmap is surprisingly simple: daily Mass when possible, regular prayer that includes listening, not just talking, using your talents and interests to serve God and others, treating every person you meet with kindness and respect, living each day as if it truly matters, because it does. But most importantly, Mary's relationship with Carlo shows us that she is still appearing to people today. Maybe not in the dramatic ways of Fatima or Lourdes, but in the quiet, intimate ways that most of us experience God's presence in our lives. Drop a comment below and let me know, what has Mary been trying to tell you lately? What conversation has she been inviting you into that you might have been avoiding? Carlo Acutis died in 2006, but his story is far from over. The Catholic Church is currently investigating additional miracles attributed to his intercession. Many believe he will be canonized as a saint within the next few years, making him one of the youngest saints in church history. But beyond the official recognition, Carlo's influence continues to grow. Young people around the world are choosing him as their patron saint. Parents are teaching their children about his example. Schools and parishes are creating programs based on his life and teachings. Mary's choice to work so intimately with Carlo is bearing fruit in ways that extend far beyond what anyone could have predicted. Through social media, documentaries, books, and videos like this one, his story reaches new people every single day. Each person who learns about Carlo Acutis is receiving an invitation from Mary herself, an invitation to believe that holiness is possible for ordinary people, an invitation to trust that God has a specific plan for their life, an invitation to recognize that heaven is not distant, but intimately involved in the details of everyday life. What makes Carlo's story so powerful is not that he was extraordinary, but that he was so beautifully ordinary. He shows us that Mary's appearances don't require us to be perfect. They require us to be open. The same Virgin Mary who guided Carlo through his teenage years, is available to guide you through whatever season of life you're in right now. She's the same mother who appeared at Fatima, at Lourdes, at Guadalupe, and to countless saints throughout history. She's also the same mother who wants to have a personal relationship with you. But you have to choose to listen. You have to choose to make space for her voice in your life. You have to choose to believe that such relationships are not just possible, but intended for every Catholic who opens their heart to receive them. As this incredible story of Carlo Acutis and the Virgin Mary comes to a close, you might be wondering what it means for your own life. How do you move from being inspired by Carlo's story to actually living it? Mary's relationship with Carlo began with simple daily practices that anyone can adopt. Start attending Mass more frequently, even if it's just one additional day per week. Set aside time each day for prayer that includes silent listening, not just requests or formal prayers. Look for ways to use your own talents and interests to serve God and others. But most importantly, begin asking Mary to guide you in the same way she guided Carlo. She is not a saint from ancient history. She is the living Mother of God who wants to have a personal relationship with each of her children. The story of Carlo Acutis proves that such relationships are not reserved for a special few. They are available to every person who chooses to make space for heaven in their daily life. Before you close this video, make sure you subscribe to this channel and ring that notification bell. We're committed to sharing stories that will strengthen your faith and inspire you to pursue holiness in your everyday life. Share this video with someone who needs to hear Carlo's story. Comment below with your own experiences of Mary's presence in your life, or ask for prayers if you're seeking that kind of relationship with her. Remember, the same Virgin Mary who appeared to a teenage boy in Milan is waiting to guide you in whatever challenges and opportunities you face today. The question is not whether she wants to communicate with you. The question is whether you're ready to listen. Carlo Acutis shows us that such listening can change not only your life, but potentially the lives of millions of others. His story is still being written through every person who chooses to follow his example of simple, faithful, joy-filled discipleship. The Virgin Mary appeared to Carlo Acutis to prepare him for sainthood, but also to prepare all of us for the reality that heaven is much closer than we think. Through Carlo's intercession and Mary's continuing maternal care, may you discover the extraordinary holiness that God is calling you to live in your beautifully ordinary life. Make sure to like this video, subscribe to our channel, and share Carlo's story with everyone you know. The world needs more young saints, and Mary is looking for people just like you to answer her call.